Good morning, America. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to my channel. For those who are new, my name is Tasha, and for those who aren't new, thank you so much for returning. So this is a continuation video from TikTok. Therapy is in session, and today's topic is clarity and closure. What is clarity and closure, and do you feel you need it? So this is my personal story as to why I'm asking about clarity and closure. I'm going to begin to do different type of content here on my channel. I want to start interviewing different people, different angles. I'm going here to New Orleans soon, so you'll see, different clips from that. And I'm really excited about that. But this is a personal one for me. I feel like I do need clarity and I do need closure. And this personally is for my father. My father has never been active in my life. He has several other children. He has 12 with my mother, and I don't know how many other. And I just want to ask clarifying questions and get some closure. And what that would do for me, it just gives me peace in my heart. It doesn't so much tamper with my mind. And I think I've grown to be a phenomenal young woman without my father's presence. But it would just give me just peace in my heart. So I am someone who do believe that clarity and closure is needed. If there's something about a situation that you still have question about, or it still causes a little bit confusion for you, you need that clarification. And you feel you need that clarification, and there's nothing wrong with going after it. I don't believe in beating a dead horse or, trying and, failing and failing. I feel like if you give your best effort, then just have the closure knowing that you gave your best effort. I've been trying to contact my father. He doesn't really have his own cell phone, so I reach out to my grandmother and try to contact him that way. It has been unsuccessful. My grandmother's birthday is coming up here on June 13th. It is currently June 8th. And I would like to interview him. I typically have to work Saturdays, but I took off that day. And I don't want to ambush anybody with an interview. This is why I've been trying to contact him prior to even see if an interview is okay. And I have yet to been able to speak to him to ask him. And if I don't speak to him prior to, and I end up seeing him on my grandmother's birthday, then I would probably ask him still for an interview, but I just won't conduct one that day because that's not the time or the place, as we are celebrating my grandmother's birthday. The clarity part. As I stated, he wasn't in any of our lives. He chose to run the street and do drugs instead of being a father to all of his children. He still struggles with drugs till this day. Being a drug addict, I know for him is hard, and anybody else. I am a recovering food addict, and me and my father has had a conversation like way back in the past, and a lot of things that he said triggered him, and just kind of the conversation that we had regarding his addiction way back when was the same type of situations that I had regarding food. So it let me know right then that no addiction is better than the other. The only difference is the substance. Mine was a food addiction, as I am in recovery, and his is a current drug addiction, as he's been a drug addict my entire life. And I'm third to the youngest, so he's been a drug addict for at least 40 years or more. And a lot of my other uncles, his brothers, were also drug addicts, but they got clean. So it was just him of his entire family. That he is him and 4 other siblings, that total 5, and he is the only drug addict and, no job and, running streets and not active in his kid's life. He is the only one. And I reach out to my, uncles, which is his brothers, and, you know, we're friends on Facebook, and, they'll put nice things if I, post a nice, picture, and it just make me think, if my uncle can be supportive of me, where is my father? Although I don't think it affected me, and the woman that I've become, you still just can't help but to think how my life would have been if I had my father's influence. And that that I do believe. That I do have in my heart. That is the question that I have. How my life would have been with my father's influence. And all my other siblings grew up without him as well. I'm just the only one coming forth and speaking about it. And it affects people different ways. He was in my older siblings' life for a period of time. Mine, he just wasn't in. But he was around like a longer period of time before leaving in my older siblings' life. My sister Tinksy, her real name is Tierra. My older sister Tinksy and my other sisters, a few of them, gave me a thumbs up to interview them. I want to know what it's like to be a sister to me, to be a daughter in our family. What type of clarity would it be for them? What type of closure would it be for them? I would like to have a sit down with all of my sisters, because we're all just so different. And I have, put that idea on the table, and some of my sisters bit on it, agreed. Some I just didn't hear back from. And it's just an opportunity for everybody to have the floor. We all speak at once, and we all speak our truth. We need that clarity. We need different point of views. Be like, hey, we are this way. Why? What do you think you're doing? Because it's not giving what you think it's giving. And as far as my father goes, this is how your actions affected your children. You need to know, but do you care to change? Why do drugs have this much of a hold over you? I know psychological help is needed because you are not in control of your own life. A substance is. I'm going to always speak openly and honestly about what it is that I'm going through, because it's the same blood that runs through my vein, and I got the right to speak on it, and that's just how I feel. The only reason why I asked for clarity and closure as far as having my other siblings on my YouTube channel, because it gives them the opportunity to speak. And I never want to take the right from anybody, because my perspective and my opinions will obviously look different than other people's. But if you do not take the opportunity to speak your piece, then I'm going to continue to speak mine, and then we're just going to continue to paint a narrative of you on this channel. But the floor is yours if you want it. So I do think clarity and closure is needed. I'm very much of a individual. If it doesn't affect my life positively, I don't want to be involved. It's my choice. And if anyone else wants anything else for me, then I would question them. This isn't a good choice for me. Why would you want me to be involved? Since you want me to be involved, I'm looking at you sideways. That means you don't want what's best for me. It's impossible. I want my daddy's approval still, although he doesn't practice what he preached. If it was just a random Joe on the street and I heard the story, I wouldn't want his approval, because who is he to me? The scene is that he is my father. I want to know what he thinks about me, and I want him to know everything that I'm, doing, and working 2 jobs and still balancing a content creator type of lifestyle, because this is what I really want to do. I want that stamp of approval from my father. although he ain't never did nothing for me, ain't never been there for me, so why would I care about his approval? But it still gives daddy's little girl in my heart. And I'm sure, you know, my other sisters feel that way. And my other brothers was raised without a father. They don't know how to be men. They're struggling. So I feel as if the clarity and closure that I'm asking for through the interview would help bring not only clarity and closure for me, but to my viewers if they're struggling, and to my siblings, because I know they are. It's hard. It's hard. I asked my mother also for an interview, because I can tell you that she was the parent that was most present, but she is absent-minded. She isn't nurturing. He wasn't there at all, so therefore he wasn't even there enough for me to see if he was absent-minded or nurturing or any characteristics of any kind. But the one that was there didn't provide any love and barely spoke to me and didn't hug me. And me and her, we did recently have a verbal conversation, and I did ask her for an interview, and we had a really, really, really good, long verbal conversation. So I thank my mother for that, because I did gain some clarity and closure verbally over the phone. She did tell me that she is nervous about being in front of a camera. I would love to bring that type of content, because we could bring clarity and closure to a lot of people who are struggling with their parents. Because we, as children, just want to know why. Because it still reigns true. We did not ask to be here. Y'all bought us here. Your choices bought us here. So for my father to choose not to be in any of his kids' life, and then for my mother to choose to sometimes be there, sometimes not. Sometimes we was in foster care, kid shelters, and split all up. But the times we were in her possession, she didn't help us with homework. She didn't hug us. She didn't talk to us. This could bring clarity and closure to a lot of people. So yes, the answer to my TikTok video is I do think clarity and closure is important. You need clarity on the things that still confuse you. You need closure for the things that to help bridge the gap for the things that's still open. I'm going to keep you guys updated to see if the interview could possibly happen with my parents, because I would love that. I want to interview different siblings in my family. I've told you I've reached out to some of them. My older sister, Tinksy, she did agree for me to interview her, so I need to go ahead and get some interview questions together. And I think she has a wonderful, unique story that you guys will be interested in hearing. And I'm excited as to what's to come. I just want to give good content that could help those who are struggling with the same things we are. We are a big family who is not close, who do not celebrate holidays together, who do not do birthdays and happy to see each other. We ain't that. And I got 12 siblings and 13 nieces and nephews. And that's just the people to the right and left of me. Not even including a cousin, auntie, uncle, brothers, sisters, and our children, nieces and nephews. And we aren't close, but we didn't grow up close either. And now we grown to the point where it's like we got our own lives to live and our own children to raise. So what are we doing now? But I do want to say thank you to the siblings that I have reached out to who have agreed to the interview. And I'm going to begin to seriously gather that content for you all, just to give you a deeper look into my life, because I'm going to be always open and honest and true with my viewers. 100%. You won't receive anything fake or phony from me. You know I wear my flaws on my sleeve. I'm not perfect, and that's not what I want to be. Perfect is boring. So I appreciate y'all for sticking by me through my ups and my downs, and being there when I pick myself up off the ground. I'm going to end the video here. I'm going to put all my social media content in the description box. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye.